Tonight, our guest is Tyler Leopold from Ottawa Glandorf High School over on the west side of Findlay, Ohio. And OG's familiar to me because my youngest son open enrolled at Kenton for 2 years during Mike Mock and Ben Mock's years. And I think we thumped him pretty hard. No, I'm joking with you. Okay. Tyler, tell me, offensive line, right? Or defensive line?
Offensive line.
Offensive line. That's good. 6'5", 290 or 310, right?
Yeah.
You tell me 310. Okay. I gave you that little talk before, so we won't do it again. But that's really good. I watched you on film this morning on video, and you do move pretty well, and you do bend, and you're going to have to get faster, but we can talk about that later. Okay, football. Do you play anything else besides football at OG?
No, I do not. In the off season, I work out with the team.
Did you ever play basketball with those guys? When you were young?
I didn't. Well, I get done with volleyball.
Your volleyball?
Yeah.
That's really good. Volleyball. Okay. It's good. Keep you in shape as long as you can keep moving. Sounds really good. OG's pretty good football program. What was your record last year?
We were, let me think. 9-2.
Okay. I thought you had a pretty good season. And you have a really good football coach. Let's talk about you a little bit. As you look back or as you go now, Tyler, anybody really giving you a lot of advice or you kind of look to or they've kind of influenced you a lot? Anybody that's done that for you?
My brother Ryan definitely has. He played college football at Bluffton. He's always been coaching me ever since 5th grade. On both sides of the ball. And also Coach Schreiner's been there for offensive line.
Coach Schreiner's a good coach. I said that earlier. What about your parents? Are they supporting you here in the recruiting process?
Yeah, definitely. They help me a lot with paying for things, and we split costs for it. So they're very nice with it.
Good. As you play and compete, are there any pro or college athletes that you kind of mimic or kind of look at and think about?
Not really. Ever since I switched to O-line, I really haven't found somebody I mimicked my movements off of. But when I used to be young, I loved defensive line because of all the attention. I used to mimic everything off of J.J. Watt.
Okay. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty guy to mimic. He's pretty decent and stuff. Anything, Tyler, anything that you could help young people with now, young offensive linemen, any advice you can give them?
With recruitment wise, use Twitter. It's been a great help with me from being in a small town and getting my name out there because that's a conversation starter with a lot of coaches I've had.
What would you tell a young player then?
Work hard in the weight room, in the classroom, and on the field, everywhere in life. Being seen, go to camps. Camps are important, which really helped hurt me this year without having camps during the summer, my junior year.
Yeah, it did a lot of people. And I think maybe you'll get some exposure this year. I talked about that later with camps. What are words do you live by, Tyler? What are I ask it to everybody, every football player, what are words that you live by?
Well, a saying I live by was said by J.J. Watt, and it was dream big, work hard, because I've always wanted to play college football when I was younger and make it to the big leagues. And I've just been trying to work hard to accomplish that dream and make it come true.
It's good. That's good. Let's see. What's one thing that nobody knows about you?
A lot of people don't know that I live on a farm. We have
You live
about
on a farm.
Yeah, we have about 6,000 hogs and about 200 acres.
600 hogs?
6,000.
6,000 hogs.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really, now I live in south of Upper Sandusky, and there's a big pig farm, almost maybe a mile directly east of us. Thank goodness the wind doesn't usually blow this way in the summertime. No, I'm joking with you there. That's really neat. You're probably required to do a little bit of that work too, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Me and my brother Ryan split the afternoon chores every other day.
Yeah, that's good. I pigs aren't like I'm getting off the subject here, but pigs aren't bred like they used to be. They're can be mean, aren't they?
Yeah, they can be.
I mean, you know what? A guy like me doesn't want to be hanging in the pen very long, do I?
No, you don't.
Okay. I trust you. You know what you're talking about, because that's what I know. Okay. Okay, we better get back to football here. What? This is the first interview I've done where I got carried away. But anyway, what do you think is a strength of yours in football? What's a strength?
I think my physicality. I'm very physical, especially growing up with 3 older brothers. I had to fend for myself sometimes with all the teasing and roughhousing we had. So I've been a very physical player.
2 other offensive linemen are both really good here in Ohio. They said one of the nice things is they get to be tough and paybacks and hit people and not get penalized.
Yeah.
So that's probably the way you're thinking, right?
Yeah, that's why I love football.
That's good. What are some things you have to work on?
I think everything across the board, because I'm not the best player I can be right now. But the main thing I really have to work on is my foot speed and my speed in general and foot agility.
Okay, I'm going to let that phone ring. That's really good. I watched you on the film, there's a video this morning. The thing you do well is you bend. Okay, now you stay low and you can flat back coming out. Need to be a little bit more explosive, I think. But for the least amount of times you throw the ball, you have pretty good feet on pass protection. If that makes sense, if you were Kenton, you'd be throwing, your feet would be really good, I'm sure. But that's a compliment that you have pretty good feet on pass pro now, and you're probably going to be a guard in college, aren't you? I would think.
Yeah, I've talked to a few.
Go ahead.
I've talked to a few coaches.
I would think you're a guard or maybe a center. That I have to see, but a guard for sure, because you do get off the ball and you can block in space as well. Okay, what's the best thing about football? Or maybe you've already told me that. What's the best thing about football?
I think the memories you make with your teammates, it's something you can't make up anywhere else, I think. It's just all the memories from like working 2 days, hanging out with your buds all day. I think I really like about that. I think that's the best part.
Then you go out there on Saturday nights and, oh, gee, you have some pretty good rivalries in the Western Buckeye, big crowds and things like that. And that's got to be exciting as well, I think. What annoys you? You seem like to be a pretty competitive guy, and you're obviously big and strong. What kind of gets under your skin or irritates you sometimes?
I don't know. It takes a lot to get under my skin. I'm a very laid back dude, but when a person starts smack talking, I use it as my own fuel and use it against them to pancake them.
They start talking smack to you?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do that if I were going against you. I don't think. If you could, let's get away from football a minute. And let's go back. What's the worst thing about football?
Probably the early wake ups during 2 days. That's always seems like the hardest part to get over. But once you get out of bed, it seems pretty easy.
Getting out of bed, I bet that's true. I'm a morning guy, so it doesn't bother me. Okay, if you could trade places with somebody for one day, who would it be? Anybody.
Anybody? Probably JJ Watt, just to experience the other side of the ball and being good at the other side. His lifestyle seems very modest, I would say. I don't know. I would just love to experience his lifestyle, I would say.
That's good. Just that one day and see what all he goes through and everything. That's good. Was there any time so far in your career was you considered a top sports moment that was a really something you'll always remember? Is there anything in playing sports that you've done that to?
Probably this recent year, a play against Otsego where I was on defense and it was a screenplay and I got a pick off of it. I probably will never forget that feeling, finally getting to be able to touch the ball.
Well, no. Yeah, you blocked an extra point in some game. I saw that, I think. Didn't you come across? Or maybe
that was against Van Wert.
Okay.
I would never forget that feeling as well.
Because you got up pretty high on that. Okay, what is the recruiting process, before we close up here, what advice would you give to a young OG guy, Ottawa Glandorf guy? What advice would you give if he's being recruited? Say he's gotten some early calls as a sophomore, like you did. I'm sure you got something as a sophomore. What would you tell him?
Talk respectful. Talk like you're talking to your English teacher. Be very formal. Show them respect. Be able to continue the conversation. Don't just say okay and be plain. Just try to continue the conversation and be yourself, I would say.
That's really good to meet guys like that, and don't be too excited. Don't be too excited and slobber on yourself and things like that. Let those college coaches worry about you a little bit. That's really good. I preach that. Okay, let's talk about recruiting for just a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Let's talk about recruiting. Now, why would I want to come from Purdue to visit you in Ottawa Glandorf? You play in like a mid league. I mean, it's a good league, but it's not all Division I schools, and you live in the country and you're a pig farmer. Why would I want to recruit you? What do you have for me?
I'm very physical. I have a great work ethic. I think that goes around well, especially players can be very talented, but work ethic, I would say, is very important into the next level. I'm not the most talented player, but I'll give you everything I got.
Okay, that's good. Now, what about competition? Do you think you can handle the competition?
I think so. My brother keeps on telling me the difference between high school and college football is not the physicality he experienced, but the speed. And I think I'm able to handle that speed at the next level. Okay,
you were pretty successful out at one of those camps out. I don't know, they call it the best of the Midwest or whatever, and I think it's okay. But how did you do out there? You were pretty successful. What does that mean? Well, how did you do?
I say I was pretty successful at offensive guard. I was just played how I was taught, being very physical, trying to beat the guy off the ball and not let him touch the quarterback. Right. That's that one-on-one drill that the OD and the offensive line do, the defensive line. I think the defense should win every time. But it shows some toughness and things like that. The drill, I like it from that standpoint.
It's really good. I really appreciate talking to you. And let's see, last question. What's one thing you can't live without? Now we're finishing up here. What's one thing you can't live without? Besides water and food and all that stuff.
My family, I would say. They're very supportive. I'm glad I have them by my side every step of the way. And they keep on pushing me to be the best player I can be and the best person on and off the field.
That's good. You know, when I hopefully don't finish this interview with me, you thinking he's making fun of the farmers and stuff. No, I'm not. I really enjoy it. I mean, I live in the country. Once every 2 years, there are cornfields right around me, okay? So I think it's really neat. Okay, I appreciate talking to you, and I appreciate you taking the time, okay?
Okay.